Hello and welcome to how to create a single print box video 3. In this video we're going to show you how to assemble it, check to make sure there's no interference, especially for the print portion, and then how to create a file for your print, and then look at the actual physical print itself. So to start off with, we're going to constrain this lid to the hinge of the box. Now one thing you're going to want to note is the detailing is going to be facing towards the box, and there's a reason for this. I'm just going to finish by constraining these two edges together, and as you can see, you have a nice gap between each one, and this is one thing you're going to want to look for before you start your print. Now that we have this constrained, you can actually angle it and take a look to make sure it's not going to interfere with anything as it opens and closes. And as you can see, it's not interfering anywhere, which is great. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually prepare it for the print itself, and then take a look at if there's going to be any interferences in the hinge area. So the main spot that we're going to want to take a look at is actually between the hinge of the lid and the hinge of the box. So I'm creating a work plane to intersect with that, and then I'm going to do a cut plane on the plane, and you can actually take a look and see that there's a nice gap between the lid portion of the hinge and the box here. You can see that there's a nice gap between the pin of the box and the lid, and lastly you can see a nice gap between the whole lid and the box. So you know that when you print this, there's going to be no potential interferences, which is great, because if there was any, you would actually have the potential of it printing into itself, which would be a failed print essentially, because you just have an open box. So things to consider when you're doing this. So now that we're happy with that, I'm just going to delete the work plane because we don't need it anymore, and same with the sketch. And now you're going to have a couple options depending on your software. Some software you'll allow to do this by going File, Save As, and you'll be able to save copy as or anything like that, and then you can choose a file type. So I can choose an STL from here and then change the options to whatever I want. Another way that you can do it depending on your software is I can go into environments and go to 3D print, and in this format you can kind of just change some pieces in it. Again, depending on your software, you might have to go about this route to save it as a single piece as opposed to multiple portions. You're going to choose your options, make sure it's in the right measurements. I do millimeters with high resolution. Click OK. And then in this one, you're going to just save copy as, and then you save it as your STL. Now that we've created our STL, we're going to now import it into your slicing software. For me, I have a Prusa, so I'm just going to quickly go and import the file. And this is your last quick check to see if there's any problems you have. I'm going to rotate it so it's going to print about the direction I want it to. And then I'm just going to center that. And you can see that the lid and the box will print at the same time. And then we're just going to slice this. So I usually do about maybe 10% for something this, because it'll be pretty strong. Normally I do 0.2, but for the interest of this video I might even do a 0.3 just to make a faster print. But yeah, so we'll slice this, and then you can take a look at how it will print as you go from the bottom up. So now that it's sliced, you can see it's 10.5 hours, which is pretty lengthy, so I might actually change it to 0.3, say yes, change it to 10%, slice now. And now it's changed to 6.5 hours, so it's a little shorter. So what you can do is you can with your slicer, you can actually take a look at how it's going to slice and see if there'll be any interference as it prints. Sometimes there will be, and you might have to break a little bit when it's printing, but it's usually pretty minor. So as you can see, the hinge, there's a clearance the whole way through, and then as you can see, there's a clearance with the lid and the box itself. As it goes down, there's a constant clearance the whole way And that's just one thing you'd want to maybe do a quick stress test on just before you print it to make sure you don't have basically a forced open box. So now that it's done, we can slice it, export it, and then print it. So the next portion will just quickly show you what the print will look like. Now that you can see that the print is done, it just comes off, and you can see that it'll just kind of break open a little bit. You might have a little bit of resistance from some fibers from the print. You can close the box, and as you can see, you have a detail on the top, the front, and the side detail. So I hope that helped. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Otherwise, this is Tyler with 3D Printersaur, and I hope you have a great day.